Check this out, guys. South Tenerife cave life here. I'm going to be doing this video on all of the squatters around South Tenerife, right? So you got the cave people here. We're just going to take a brief look at the caves just because I've already covered this, kind of life here. And if we go along up here near Los Obrigos, you can see there's numerous people living inside here. Now, there used to be more people living there. This is what gets the most press in the news media here, but I'm going to be explaining a little bit more about what I'm doing here, which is stealth camping for myself, right? So we're going to go take a look at some other squatter locations here. And if we go just to the right, you can see up here, there's some vans parked along the side of the road. Now, those are perfectly legal there, right, to live in a van. So you have many, many different people living the van life in South Tenerife, in El Medano. I saw people, some young lady is getting out of her van. She's doing things like brushing her teeth on the street there because she lives in a van, right? Some of these people are local citizens here that just can't afford the rent there. So let's take a little walk down here and I'll show you the squatter locations here. So this is between Los Obrigos, Tenerife, and El Medano, right? Now, in other areas, they also have squatters all over the place, right? So let's take a look. You see this overgrown area with all the trees. What that is an abandoned swimming pool there. So there's a few squatters that live inside there. This hippie guy lives here. So if we go to the left here, you can see this brand new condo complex. These are not luxury, but they are fairly nice condos. Probably they don't like this kind of thing, right? But there's plenty of squatters. We're going to go see some more areas here just ahead. It's very easy to find these areas here. Check out these houses, guys. You see these houses by the finca there? What that is, this is a squatter's row. These are not legit houses. You can kind of see how they're thrown together there, where it's all like ramshackle. So there's a lady with her dog. Her dogs don't like me there. She sometimes comes over here. And I don't like her too much either, so I usually just move a little bit further down. So let's continue on this way. We're going to pass La Tejita here. So here we have the RV and van parking lot, right? This is perfectly legal to park here at present time, right? So the authorities opened it up, I guess. This is over by La Tejita. Plenty of people living in RVs and vans. Probably next time I'm going to come here. So I met a man who's living over here from England. Man in a van. The man in a van, something like this, Tenerife. He showed me his van the other day, although I didn't videotape it, right? So probably when I come back here, I'm going to look for a van to purchase, right? So I can live in it. So that way I won't have to pay for the hostel bunks. And I'm going to get into why I don't like hostel bunks anymore, or prefer the van, right? So you can trick it out. You can put, solar panel. You can put a little cooktop inside there. Portable toilet, bed, all of this, right? So you can kind of improvise to get it so that it is livable, right? And I'll be looking into that next time. This time I'm getting ready to fly to Belgium. And we're going to take a little walk up here, and I'm going to talk about what I did while I was here. And there's Montana Roja. So let's get to walking in this direction. Check how many RVs we have over here. It's mostly because of the weekend here. Check this out, guys. So there's nobody around here. Now, there is a parking lot over here that is usually almost empty. So this is where we do stealth camping up the hill there, right? You see those fincas over there? Those are very large farms. Let's see. And then behind that, you have the airport there. And if I want, I just keep walking in this direction, maybe a couple of miles. There's nobody over there, right? And the same for most of this area here. So what I do during the day is about 7 a.m. I pack up my tent, take all of my trash, put it in the trash can over there by the roadway, hit the beach, or go to El Medano to get my food and all this. So take all of my stuff. I do have a small camping stash. And here's a few tips for stealth camping, right? So have a camping stash, which is something that I use to bury some of my items up underground, right? There's one over there. I also have one over where I just came from, right? So I just took that away, put it back in my backpack, and that was my winter coat or winter jacket, which I don't need here because it's hot, right? So I took that back. We're going to go and I'm going to wash my clothes in El Medano in the shower there, hang those up for a little while. Tomorrow, we're going to get out of here. We're going to spend one more night over here. Probably, I'm going to get away with doing this, right? Probably not going to get a fine for that. Now, what I usually do is I usually leave a bit sooner, right? Like maybe a couple of nights, just so nobody notices that you're doing what you're doing, right? Like walking around the city with your backpack and all this, right? Hanging out at coffee shops and stuff like this. You don't want to have your tent visible, right? So what I do is I go behind a ridge, right, to set up my tent, so you can't really see it. It's kind of in this space where there's not a lot of people around, and the ridge blocks the view, right? And I don't set it up during the day, right? I'm just going there, and I'm waiting for nightfall, which is about 9:30 p.m. That's when I start setting it up. Get the pad down about 10. Then I hammer down the fly with the stakes and the rocks to keep the wind from moving it around. I have the Big Agnes Copper Spur 2, which is an expensive, well-known tent. Works great for warm conditions here. And so the reason I'm not that concerned about my activities here, getting it, technically what I'm doing is not legal, right? So, because of all these squatters, right? Who cares anyway, right? It's probably going to get away with it. So going to pack up my stuff tomorrow, clean it off, going to clean the tent tomorrow morning, wash it up, hang it up to dry, and then we're going to take the bus to the airport and take the flight to Belgium. So this kind of camping, it's much easier in a place that has a lot of woods, like Latvia or Lithuania, right? Because nobody can see what you're doing, right? You just have to walk into the woods or wherever, right? Even if it's private property, a few times I've done that. So as we're getting closer to El Medano here, here's a weird story for you guys about being a camper here. So I went into this coffee shop in Los Obrigos. It's called La Dulce. It's right at the center, right? So the first time I went in there, the guy went fine. I bought a small sandwich, charged my phones and all this. I need to go there and charge my devices, right? And to work on my videos, right? So I'm going there, and I think it's like €250. And so the second time I went in there, right, he's telling me I wouldn't pay my tab, right? Paid, just got a small drink, tea. Paid that, sat there, charged my phone. Third time I went in there, he's telling me that, again, I'm not going to pay my tab, right? So he must be having trouble with the other cavers. There are people with backpacks, hippies, that come in there, right? So very strange. They seem to be watching what it was I was doing there. And so he comes over to me and says, now you have to start ordering expensive items from the menu, right? So because you've been in here a long time, right? So I said, okay. I said, probably too expensive for me. I'll just, leave. And same thing again. So that was very strange. He basically, got me to leave the shop, right? Because my budget is not very high, right? Probably I would spend a couple of euros, right, to stay in there to charge my devices. So apparently he doesn't like, my kind of people there. So that was a little bit embarrassing about being a camper there. So yesterday I went into La Tejita. There was a lady there. She had helped me with the Wi-Fi, right? Offered me that. Very attractive waitress. Found out she's from Hungary, right? Very cute. Has a lot of tattoos. So I was like, I'll just hit her up for the charging, right? So I went in there, she helped me, no problem. Bought some tea from her for like €2, you know. So I usually don't spend a lot of money in restaurants. You know, I don't want to break the bank, you know, 20 or 30 euros, you know, like in the States, you know, you could spend this amount of money on lunch. So I usually have to go to the supermarket to buy my food there, right? So got that done. They usually don't have a problem with that, coffee shops and restaurants and shops and things like this. Now, it is a little embarrassing to be thrown out because of your bags, right? Mostly because I have the backpack and my other little stuff sack there. So they can kind of tell that, right? So maybe I look a little borderline homeless or something like this, right? Now, most people can tell I'm probably not homeless because my bag is kind of expensive, right? So I might get that type of issue with free camping. That's probably why I'm going to try van life in the future, just so I can have a place to put all my possessions here as I'm going around the world, right? So let's get on to El Medano here. Hey guys, so tidied up my stuff, cleaned off my tent, and I'm headed to TFS Airport on bus 10 here. So let's go. Cost €250, plus I had to take the 408 bus to San Isidro here. It's not far, it's like 5 minutes away.